everybody! We're here to fight for our fellow humans, to fight against cruelty and human suffering. We are here because, in the words of Barack Obama, change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. We're all here today for many issues: Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, immigration, LGBTQ plus rights, funding cuts, and so much more that the administration is breaking and destroying. But we're all under a broader flag and a larger purpose. And it's not just a shared sense of urgency, it's the way our rights, our values, and our neighbors are under attack. We're watching a government wage war on immigrants, asylum seekers, the LGBTQ plus community, on journalists, educators, and students, on peaceful protesters and dissenters, on women and the working class, and on democracy itself. Woo! We are seeing constitutional norms trampled with impunity. We're living through a presidency marked by scandals that would have ended the career of any leader before. Remember Signalgate? When top cabinet members used Signal to discuss classified airstrikes? That happened 3 weeks ago. And yet, the silence from those in power is deafening. The administration is so brazenly violating constitutional rights in deporting and renditioning U.S. residents with no criminal history to a notorious maximum security prison. Let's call it what it is. It's a concentration camp. This is a human rights crisis. And even some of our most trusted institutions are being tested. At Harvard, we've seen retaliation because they dared to speak truth, but they stood strong. Columbia gave in to their demands and they got nothing for it. And at Cornell, we say clearly, do not capitulate. You are part of this fight. So, this is a fight that requires action from all of us. So, what can you do now? Call your reps and demand action. Email them, send faxes, inundate them with letters. Support congresspeople around the nation that are actually doing something, like Chris Van Hollen, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Jasmine Crockett, Al Green, Tim Walz. And don't support your reps that are doing nothing, even and especially the Democrats. They must earn the vote of you, the voter. So we need to support the organizations fighting the administration. Support your libraries by going to them. Support colleges standing up to the administration. Attend teach-ins, back student protests. Use your voice as a student, alum, or faculty. Support the law firms fighting back. Follow their cases. Spread the word. Stay informed. And vote with your dollar. Do not buy from companies funding corruption. Let's thrift, borrow, and conserve, and build community resilience. Perfection is the antithesis of progress. The administration knows this well. You don't have to be perfect, but you don't have to do everything, but you can't do nothing. We are the people, we have the power, but only if we invoke it. Thank you. Okay, thank you guys, and I'm going to introduce our first speaker and next alderperson of the First Ward, Jorge Defendini.
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Everything that's happening on the national level has an impact here in Ithaca. Every fight that you see on the national level, it has a parallel here in Ithaca. What we don't need to do is support Democrats who who are going to be capitulating to Republican framing, saying, oh, we're only attacking the criminals, we're only going after the lawbreakers. Well, guess what? If you strip away due process from the criminals, you're stripping due process away from all of us. So we have to call that out. And that includes, and I'm sorry, this gets a little uncomfortable, that includes our own Democratic Congressman, Josh Riley, who voted for the Wednesday Friday. We cannot be putting neighbor against neighbor. All of us deserve due process. All of us deserve to belong here. It's not American citizens first. It's all of us against the few, the billionaire class, the dictators. It's all of us against them. Absolutely. The far right is organized. You can see it with the meetings that President Trump is taking. He's not sitting down with civil rights activists, immigration attorneys. He's sitting down with Latin American dictators like Nayib Bukele. He's sitting down with dictators like Vladimir Putin. He's sitting down with dictators like Benjamin Netanyahu. We need to be organized. The far right is organized. It's time for us to get organized. So find a group to join. I'm a proud member of the Ithaca Democratic Socialists of America. I'm a proud member of the Ithaca Tenants Union. I'm a proud member of so many other groups. Find your group. Indivisible Tompkins. Mutual Aid Tompkins. Whatever it might be, find a group. The Working Families Party. Find a group that's fighting the fight and get organized, because that's how we keep each other safe. Okay? This isn't the last fight, it's the first one. So thank you all so much. Solidarity forever.
We all know why we're here. We're here because our students, our classmates, our friends are being deported with no explanation, because things that are necessary to all Ithacans and Americans are being cut, like Medicare and Medicaid. And we're here because we have a government that does not care about working people anymore, and that only cares about the wealthy, protecting money, and protecting billionaires. And that's not the type of government that we need. That's why I want to run for city council, and that's why I'm happy to see all of you here. Because we need a city and a country that cares about average people, people having protections at work and in their homes and not being evicted, having their rents increase every single year by amounts that people can't afford. That's why we need local protections. So, as Jorge just said, things like just cause, labor protections, rent stabilization, these are things that can make a difference. If our federal government won't stand for us, we can do things here too. And that can mean, voting in June and caring about local politics, but it also means coming to events like these, showing off with very creative posters. These are all great. Showing up and caring and working with your neighbors, doing mutual aid, like Food Not Bombs every Sunday that, makes amazing dinners for our community members. Things like that. We can make a difference on our local level, and I'm so happy to see all of you here. Thank you for having me, and we can really fight this. I know it's easy to feel hopeless and disconnected. It's easy to say, they're not gonna come for us. This is just, like Jorge said, these are just criminals, or these are immigrants, but that's not true. These are our neighbors, our LGBTQ neighbors, our women and people seeking abortions, gender affirming care. This affects all of us. Every single person in this crowd will be affected in the next 4 years, and we need to fight now, as early as possible.
Professor Kenneth Roberts, could I please get a round of applause?
But it's great to see everybody out here today struggling for the causes that we believe in, and recognizing the unique challenges and threats that we face in the country today and around the world. I teach courses on democracy and authoritarianism at Congress, at Cornell. And I mostly work on Latin America and other parts of the world, and I never really expected that I would have to take some of the lessons that I learned in studying other parts of the world to try to understand what's happening in the United States itself. And I think as as Angelica mentioned earlier today, there are a lot of different reasons why people are here, a lot of different reasons why we're opposing some of the policies of the Trump administration. For some people, it may be immigration rights. For other people, it may be LGBTQ. A lot of people may be concerned over Medicare, over Medicaid, over Social Security. Yesterday, we heard about cuts coming to Head Start programs. So a lot of different policy spheres in which we have good reasons to oppose what we see taking place. But I think it's important to recognize that what they all share in common, they all rely upon the closing of democratic spaces and the closing of spaces for civil society, right? For community activists and for people who are active at the grassroots. And we see this where anywhere in the world where democracy begins to erode or backslide, as we call it, you see the closing of space for everyday citizens to speak out, to take a stand, to dissent, to organize, whether it's in a local union, whether it's a community organization, whether it's a campus group, whatever it might be, you see the closing of political spaces. And we can see that underway in the United States today. And it's very important that we stand together, all right? Individually, the whole idea of these kinds of authoritarian regimes is that they want to divide everybody, right? They want to make it difficult to stand together. And there's a natural reaction in different places. You know, when you see these kinds of threats, that oftentimes people will keep their head low. They try to, not to bring noise, not to be noticed, try to protect themselves. We see this among the different universities, that each university trying to protect their own self and to limit the damage, rather than standing up collectively and pushing back jointly. And it's very important. I think we make a big mistake if we simply rely upon the courts or the institutions to defend us, right? The Trump administration is overwhelming the checks and balances of the democratic system. The whole idea is to hit on multiple fronts at the same time, so that you create facts on the ground and you make it very difficult for the institutional checks to function the way in which they're supposed to. If we rely upon the courts and those institutions, we're going to be in trouble, all right? The courts need to see society pushing back, and they need to see people working together collectively, and that'll help to put some backbone in the courts. Otherwise, you can see the democratic spaces beginning to close up. So anyway, I just want to say again, it's great to see all of you here. Keep doing the work that you're doing. This is what democracy is about, and this is what we need to do to try to save democracy in times when it comes under real pressure. These kinds of authoritarian leaderships that we're seeing, the whole logic, democracy doesn't break down like it did in the old days, where there's some sort of military coup or an overthrow of democracy. What we're seeing instead is the progressive closing of spaces, the strangulation of democracy from within. So you see elected leaders, people who are elected and claim a democratic mandate, but then they use democratic institutions to concentrate powers, to whittle away at the checks and balances, and to close space for civil society. And I think that's what we have to recognize when it's taking place, and we need to push back. But thank you all.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. And now I have Professor Alyssa Apsel. If I could get a round of applause.
So my name is Elisa Apsel. I'm a professor of electrical and computer engineering at Cornell University. This is not my bag. I don't come out here and speak publicly very often. I do not enjoy it. But here we are, because what we're seeing right now is an attack on our universities, an attack in particular on science and engineering that is unlike anything that I have seen in my over 25-year career in this area. So last week, we received, I'm the department head, and we received a whole bunch of stop work orders on, I think across the university, maybe something like 75 research contracts from the Department of Defense. So you should realize that I don't call these research grants because these are research contracts. These are contracts that are awarded competitively based on proposals that faculty write that represent the best work that can be delivered to the U.S. government and in service of the country in general, okay? So So these contracts were given stop work orders. In my department alone, it was something in the low teens of millions of dollars. So all of these things make the U.S. more competitive, make us more secure, and make us leaders internationally, right? So first of all, it's notable that U.S. universities account for about half of the basic research done today in the United States. The idea that somehow getting rid of this basic research component, getting rid of these universities and not doing research anymore would not only weaken the U.S. significantly, but it would destroy various sectors, including our technology sector, including pharmaceuticals.
For every company that decides to strip their commitment to equity and inclusion, we divorce you. We know that life's happiness is not determined by what we have, but who we are, and we are not for sale. We do not just vote with our elections. We vote with every dollar we earn and every dollar we spend. We choose each other. And finally, in celebration of Earth Day, let's each take a moment to reflect, truly and deeply, as humans. We often forget choices driven by convenience and comfort. To be genuine stewards of our planet and guardians of our future, let's each of us, commit each day to ask how much is truly enough for me to be okay. As this government denies the very existence of climate change, we will fight back by rejecting their reality, by living with such integrity that we overpower their desire to crush this planet to their will. We will crush them with our resolve and our love. We need one more round of applause for Angelica.
Thanks so much. It's been great to have you here. Keep up the momentum. Awesome. Thank you.
Any thoughts?
What's that?
Any thoughts you'd like to share?
This is a great event. This is what everyone needs to see, is people participating, because democracy is not a spectator sport. Everyone needs to be involved, and due process is democracy. Whether you're a citizen or a non-citizen, if you are living within the borders of America, we are all guaranteed the same constitutional rights.
Thank you.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Any thoughts?
No,
Anything you'd like to say?
I'm just really happy to see so many people here showing up for our country.
Thank you.